My new piece, Realm Variation, is a piece for Cathy Payne, who's a wonderful piccolo player, and I think the piccolo part is, I hope that she'll enjoy playing it because I think it's really beautiful and it goes through the piece. I think Cathy Payne had talked to Michael Tilson Thomas about doing a piece of mine. And I had no experience whatsoever with piccolo. So, it's been really, really interesting because mostly piccolo parts are written for the extreme speed, very sparkling, kind of shimmering kind of sound that the piccolo has. It's very fast. It cuts through almost anything. What I was really impressed with the playing of Cathy Payne was this beautiful lyrical, melodic kind of singing voice that she has in the piccolo. So I decided to try to write also lines that have space within them as well as faster kind of articulations.
I'm a musician because I want to communicate with people. I have a feeling. I want to express it. I've spent millions of hours in a practice room, by myself, trying to master my instrument so that when I get on the stage and I feel the energy of the audience and the energy of my colleagues, I can make a statement. I can make somebody feel something that they haven't felt. I can express how I feel to someone else and say, hey, look at this. That's why I do it.
For many years, when people would try to categorize my music, or I would try to explain what my music was, I used to call myself a maverick. I said, well, I'm in the American Maverick tradition, and I was thinking about people like Henry Cowell or Harry Partch. I felt closer to that. Go out into the woods and do your own way, and it doesn't necessarily have to relate to something that came before it at all. In fact, I'd rather it not, and make your own world in music. That's what I always felt that I did. And so when Michael ended up doing a series of concerts called American Mavericks, I was like, whew, phew, there's a whole, now we're getting that concept more into the mainstream, which I think is something that as Americans, we have an amazing tradition of that. So I was very, very happy to be part of those concerts. I remember them very, very well, and I always loved being part of the American Mavericks. Well, I just would love to say how grateful I am for Michael Tilson Thomas, because he's been so supportive of my work over the years, and he really has a vision for what an orchestra can be in a community, I think both at San Francisco and New World. And I think that he just has done so much in terms of the music field, and I've always been very touched by how supportive and encouraging he's been of me, and also offering opportunities for me to stretch and go a little beyond my comfort zone. I feel like every piece I make, I want to learn. That's what I would like to do for the rest of my life, is just every piece I do start from not knowing. I've always been like this, but I feel this even more as I'm getting older. Start from not knowing, and then little by little you are learning, and you go past the discomfort of being in the unknown. And then there's a certain point where curiosity takes over, and then the fear goes away. And so, particularly in these music pieces with instrumentalists, I feel like every piece I've just learned so much. And then I start falling in love with these instruments. I think when you take risks, you don't grow old. I am growing old, but I do think the risk factor is something that keeps you fresh, and you're on the edge, which is really good. It's not comfortable, but you're on the edge, and it's a good thing. I think there are some people that find a kind of form, and then it becomes more, you could say, like more product oriented, and they find a form, and they work within that form pretty much for their whole lives, and that's a certain way of thinking about things. But I think for me, I've always thought that the making music is listening enough to let something that already exists in another dimension come through, and so that's much more an idea of process rather than so much a product orientation. So it's the moments of discovery that keep me alive. Those moments of discovery are worth everything. And that's why I feel so lucky to be in music, because I feel like the miracle of music and the mystery of music and the revelation of music, to be part of that and to sometimes have these pieces come through, which remain, you know, that process remains very mysterious to me, how it happens. So that's something that I feel very blessed. I feel very, very fortunate.